So Carson High School, 1981-82. I cleaned up my act. I got out of the gangbang khaki suit, started dressing better. I really loved Adidas sweatsuits. They were really popular back then, Adidas sweatsuits. They had like multiple colors with the two-piece thing with the stripes, the zip up. Well, ours weren't actually Adidas. They were the knockoff version. We used to go downtown LA on LA Street and we'd get them for like 50% off. I think it's the same maker to just put the label on there. Got some great friends, Ronald G. I loved him. Brian Gordon, I loved them. They were my friends. Those were my road dogs. We go everywhere together, all the football games, the dances. High school football was a big deal in the city of Carson. We had the great rivalries with Banning, and those were like USC, UCLA football games. Anyone around knows and remember those times. Those were great times. But those are my road dogs. We did everything together, and I still love them immensely to this day. Became an athlete. I started running track and played basketball. In 1982, we won the state championship in basketball, led by the great Eldridge Hudson. He was our big hero, El Hut. Yeah, he was a big hero in 1982, and he went on to play at UNLV. And great times, high school times. But yeah, became an athlete, even had my high school sweetheart, cheerleader, Darlene Bates. Yeah, she was the high school sweetheart back then. I started gathering a lot of friends from being an athlete and becoming more popular, and they suggested to me to run for homecoming king. You should run for homecoming king. And I'm like, what? I ain't running for no homecoming king. I don't want to do that. And decided to run, and guess what? Won. Right, won homecoming king. And I'm thinking, before I agreed to do it, well, actually after I agreed, and I'm like preparing for it, I was like, man, ain't no way am I gonna win homecoming king. I'm just gonna run just to have fun, to get all fixed up and grow in front of the people and see what happens. And sure enough, I won. But again, I thought for sure that Sergio Marquez, I thought he was gonna win. Sergio was good looking, he was best dressed, and the ladies liked him and the whole thing. And I'm like, Sergio's gonna win, and there's no way I'm gonna win, no way. But I ended up winning. What a magical night that was. The limo picked me up from the high school and then took us over to Gardena because we played at their stadium. And oh man, it was really something to pull up, and the tension is mounting, and I'm like getting kind of nervous, and they escort us out of the limo, and the princess nominee, she's walking me through and walking me onto the field, and I'm kind of nervous, right? Because I'm looking up and it's like a couple thousand people in the stadium. And I got up there on that platform, and they announced my name and crowned me king. And that crowd, right, it was insane. All of the cheers and the screams and people jumping up and down when they said, in the 1982 Carson High homecoming king is Michael Pointer. I'll never forget, they announced my name, and I'm standing up there with that king's hat on, and I'm like, all these sensations and emotions are going through my body. And that tripped me out, man, that whole experience. And that's the first time I ever felt really accepted and loved by masses of people. That was a staple moment in my life, I'll say. The feeling that gave me, the feeling of acceptance by thousands of people all at once. And so I stood up there and I waited to see who's gonna be crowned queen, right? And so it was Gloria Perez. And that's why I thought Sergio and Gloria would win, because they just made such a great couple. It's like, no way am I gonna win, but certainly they crowned us king and queen, and we both stepped off the platform and walk the red carpet, and the people went crazy as we were walking through to the stadium because it was halftime, and our team was winning. Carson was winning, our football team, and it was just people were standing around cheering, and it was pandemonium. My high school sweetheart comes and hugs me, and there's just this great moment where all the people are around and they're cheering me on, and it was just great. It was like, oh, you won. I truly didn't think that was for me. I thought it was for Sergio and Gloria. But what a wonderful time. High school was some of the best days of my life. Well, so I thought. I did think that at the time, but now when I look back, I didn't realize the cost of fame, being an athlete, and, now I'm crowned king, the first black homecoming king, in fact, of Carson High School in their history. And I didn't realize the cost that comes along with that. There's a cost that you pay of fame and popularity, not fortune, but fame, being popular, because all of a sudden, I had all types of females that were like just there, and they were like after me from not only from Carson High School, but from other schools. And it's funny when you're a young boy, and the measure of your developing manhood by your peers, your male peers, is how many women that you get around with. And the more stories you have, the more you elevate yourself on the platform of manhood. And you think that's, as a boy growing up, you think that's where it's at, to be a womanizer. It's funny, I ran into someone from 40 years ago. And he was like, man, Mike, I remember you, man. You had that fancy car, and you had all the ladies, man. You had that Jerry curl, man. You had all the ladies, and we're like I'm almost 60 years old, and dude's still talking about something from 40 years ago. Just such a juvenile subject of all the ladies that I had. He's still talking about it, right? And like that's some honor to be a person that goes around and just kind of has his way with different females. But that's how the average boy is conditioned to believe that this is what you do. This is the measure of your developing manhood is, the ladies. And it put me on the wrong track. I'll put it that way. It certainly did. So I spiraled out of control with females. And, I did, and looking back, it's not something that I'm really proud of. So high school ended, and graduation day was one of the saddest days in my life. I didn't realize it until that day was over, and it's like, this is it. I love school. Oh gosh, I love school. Not because I love the books, but I love the social aspects of it. Going to school, seeing my friends. Not only was I an athlete and I'm crowned king, right, but I was also class clown. So I was always going for laughs, always wanting to be the life of the party. And I missed that. We weren't even done with graduation day yet, but I said, I'm gonna miss this. So the day was over, and we, took our pictures and all of that with our diplomas, and it's like, okay, now what do we do? Either you go to the military or you go and you get a real job. And I worked at this magazine firm called R.R. Donnelly and Sons. They were in Torrance, a company out of Chicago. And so I started working there, and my womanizing ways continued. I had no direction. So I just spiraled out of control with, more females, more running around, more. My high school sweetheart, she dumped me because I got, caught up in trouble. So she ended up, finding out, and she got rid of me, and which she should have, being spiraling out of control the way that I was. I loved the attention. It's great to know what your demons are, especially as you grow up and mature, because I love the attention. And so I got a job and continued on. I'm driving around in my fancy car and the whole thing, and I'm, just being a terrible person. I ended up getting involved with someone in a situation that would have serious ramifications about 38 years later. And what I found out would change my life forever.